On this edition of our program, since it's All Souls Day, we talk about Filipino boxing greats who have since departed our midst, and we, in our very little, in our own way, in our little way, we pay tribute to them. And we start with Gabrielle Flacci Lorde, who was born in March 22 of 1935. He died in January 2, had a record of 88 wins, with 33 knockouts, lost 27, and drew 2 fights. He was the former world junior lightweight champion. Ryan, what are your vivid memories of Gabriel Flacci Lorde?
Well, Flacci Lorde really was a trendsetter in Philippine boxing, and he broke because now we're so used to having all these Filipino champions. There was a long time between like significant world champions. We had Pancho Villa in the 1920s, and then we had to wait until the 60s for Flacci Lorde to really catch on and become like this world figure. So he was the standard bearer for a long time with boxing in the Philippines. Southpaw, he was promoted by Papa Sarial and then wound up marrying his daughter, Laura. And Flacci Lorde's presence in Philippine boxing can still be felt today because his family, they keep his memory alive. They host the Lorde Awards every year, and his grandchildren are still fighting. You have Miguel Lorde, Juan Miguel Lorde, and then you have Baya Lorde is also a pro boxer. So his legacy lives on forever. But when you think of Lorde, you think of him winning the championship at Araneta Coliseum. I believe it was 1963 against Harold Gomes. That's when he won the junior lightweight championship, and you have to really consider him one of the great 130-pound champions of all time.
You know, if there was one thing that strikes me about Baya Lorde is the fact that, in spite of the fact that we've already had Pancho Villa as an Olympic champion, you have a Flacci Lorde who really captured the imagination of the Filipino boxing world because, for one, he was really able to fight, with the benefit of television. People were already able to see his fights on TV, and in succeeding years, that started that love affair, that mass-based love affair with Flacci Lorde because of that benefit of television. But I think more than that, for the long time that Flacci Lorde was on the lips and in the minds of the Filipino boxing public. He was one of those that really possessed a different level of charisma. Imagine these were the days when boxing was really toe-to-toe. Not much dancing. People just went out, all out, toe-to-toe. The fights were really, it really was down the wire, so to speak. And that really was very much appreciated by the viewing public. At mga kaibigan, lalong-lalo na kumbaga si Flacci Lorde, yung itsura kasi ni Flacci Lorde, Pinoy na Pinoy yung itsura niya. He really looked Filipino. He was homegrown. I mean, really homegrown as homegrown is. So for his fighting style, for the way he conducted himself in and out of the ring, made him very well loved by the Filipino public. And just to give you another side note, upon his retirement, he was still on the minds and hearts of Filipinos because he made movies. He appeared in movies, and he made a very well-loved commercial that also involved Bertawa Marcelo, Rico Puno, Amang Parica, and even Fernando Poe Jr. He appeared in a few Fernando Poe Jr. films, which really made him so loved by the Filipino public. And for those who are more or less my age, they will remember a 1982 film called Pamilya Dimagiba, which was shown in 1982, that had him, together with, believe it or not, Freddie Webb, Atoy Ko, and Abby King, who were all very popular basketball players during that time.
It's so funny because actually I'd seen the Isang Platitang Mane commercial
the commercial,
on YouTube I don't go that far back. Obviously, I wasn't even born when Alorde passed. But we were at an event, and Alorde's wife Laura was there, and I had they had a plate of peanuts in the middle of every table, and I picked it up and I did that, and she's like, "How does he know this? Like, this is before he was even born." And then someone had to explain to her that, you can watch these commercials on YouTube now. So I like to give credit. I like to take credit for introducing Laura Alorde to YouTube.
Well, our next boxer, mga kaibigan, namin pag-uusapan ay, of course, another Filipino great who brought glory to the Philippines by capturing the first Olympic boxing gold of the country. And we're talking about none other than Anthony Villanueva, who was a name that resonated so loudly up until another silver was claimed by another Filipino boxer, Ogniot Velasco. But imagine, for so many years, he held that distinction of being our only boxing Olympic silver medalist, Ryan.
Yes, and that really confers with it a lot of respectability, because we think about all these decades that we've waited for our silvers and gold medals. And we had Ogniot Velasco. He won the champion. He got a silver medal in '96. Then we waited 24 years for the gold medal eventually. So this was at a time when the world was getting smaller, and the Olympics, because of international travel, you had all these athletes who were becoming larger than life. So for Villanueva, that was very important. And that was a disputed decision. There are a lot of people who went to their graves and felt that Anthony Villanueva deserved to win the gold medal at the Olympics there.
Well, Villanueva, who eventually returned to the country in 1988, had a unfortunate and forgetful professional career, and eventually passed away in May of 2014. He was 69 years old when he passed on. Now, moving on to Pancho Villa, whose original name is Francisco Guillermo, who was born in Iloilo. He was a professional boxer, a world flyweight champion who began his career in, believe it or not, the year 1919, Ryan.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't at ringside for that fight.
Neither was I, my friend. Neither was I.
You can get a ticket. The Pancho Villa, it was the first, not just Filipino world champion, it was the first Asian world champion. And this is, of course, when boxing was starting to just kind of find itself after the bare knuckle era, and I have gloves on. But Pancho Villa, we think about Manny Pacquiao going to Las Vegas and winning all these world championships. At that time, New York was the place to be if you wanted to be a fighter. Pancho Villa went all the way over to the Polo Grounds in New York City, where the Yankees used to play, and he fought Jimmy Wild, who was a world figure. He was one of the hardest punching fighters pound for pound in history. And Pancho Villa went out there and stopped him in 7 rounds. And, he really is a sort of a what could have been, even though he accomplished some great things and he's a boxing Hall of Famer, he died in his early to mid-20s, I believe, of a tooth infection. But even then, he was able to get 73 wins, at that early stage of his career. Who knows? He never lost the flyweight championship in the ring. Who knows what he could have accomplished if he had lived on? But anyone who wants to go pay their respects, he has a very visible, easily distinguishable gravestone at Manila North Cemetery.
Well, Villa has been inducted into the Hall of Fame together with, of course, Flacci Lorde, and another person who we will be discussing as we go on with the program. Our final boxer that will be giving tribute is, of course, Seferino, the Bolo Punch Garcia, who was born in Naval, in Biliran, Philippines is considered a revolutionary in the sport because of what was termed as the bolo punch. What was the bolo punch, Ryan?
The bolo punch is like a half uppercut, half hook, and it could come from suddenly. The most famous bolo punch, I would say, Kid Gavilan also had a pretty good one. The one that I think of immediately is the one that Jersey Joe Walcott used to knock out Ezra Charles to win the heavyweight championship. So it was a very formidable punch.
Well, those are the boxers, ladies and gentlemen, na aming binibigyan ng parangal, and we give out our respects to these four boxers who really made a very big contribution to Philippine boxing.